Popular health experts are still discussing about the potential benefits, but also the risks and downsides of using a sauna. Well, as most things when it comes to our health, it's not the question if it's good or bad. The question becomes how to use it. And in today's video, you will learn how to use heat and sauna to get the maximum benefits for your health, to help you feel and perform at your best. And at the end, I will give you some weird hacks that you should try to get the best out of your sauna sessions. Well, all of this will take me around 10 minutes. If you're not able to watch a 10-minute YouTube video, you're not really serious about taking control of your health. And you're welcome to watch some other kind of dopamine spiking and entertaining YouTube video. If you're serious, let's get started. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Marvin and I'm a health coach for top 1% entrepreneurs, helping them maximize their health and performance. And if you're interested in optimize your health, performance and well-being, then subscribe to that channel. And because of the work with my clients, I have a huge amount of data which I can refer to when it comes down to different sauna routines. For example, I track their glucose levels during the sauna and their sleep and recovery metrics after the sauna. And I will show you some actual examples of that. But first we have to understand at least the broad mechanism, how the sauna actually impacts the body. So I invite you now to get in an imaginary sauna with me. Even if I'm a German, yes, we go to the sauna naked. Please imagine myself with clothes. Thank you. So we step into the sauna. What happens now? First thing that happens is that your blood vessels are widening because of the heat and therefore your blood flow is increasing. Then your muscles tend to relax, and this is where most of the time we have this really warm and pleasant feeling inside the sauna. After some minutes, your body starts to sweat in order to regulate his body temperature. With sweating, he already secretes some kind of toxins such as heavy metals and also alcohol. That's why you can smell when someone sits in the sauna with you who had maybe a party yesterday. If you then stay in the sauna for a prolonged time, this pleasant feeling switches to a slightly uncomfortable feeling, where you may have also the desire to leave the sauna. And this is where the magic happens, because in this stage, the body releases so-called dynorphin. Maybe you're familiar with endorphins, which make us feel really pleasant. And the counterpart to that is dynorphin, which makes us feel slightly uncomfortable. The good news is that this dynorphin release manipulates the endorphin receptors, which makes them more sensitive. In other words, when we leave the sauna, we feel really good. And not just that, even whatever we are doing after that feels even more pleasant. Okay, now we leave the sauna because it tends to get really uncomfortable. Now you look into the mirror and see that your skin is really red. This is a sign of an increased circulation. And there we have already 3 huge benefits of using the sauna. First, as the muscles relax and the blood flow is increasing. Second is that we sweat out different toxins. And third thing is that we improve our endorphin sensitivity. But if we make it right, we can even add some additional benefits. For example, some people do a cold plunge or a cold shower immediately after the sauna. This is not necessary, but it can have additional benefits. So it can further improve your circulation because your vessels now have to contract. It's like a workout for your cardiovascular system. If we then do the sauna in the afternoon or in the evening, it can also improve our sleep quality. This is why lots of people sleep really well when they did sauna. Why? Because our circadian rhythm, our wake and sleep rhythm, is closely connected to our body temperature. These are all exciting news, but there are still some downsides of using the sauna that you should be aware of. First of all, heat is some form of stress. I recently checked the recovery metrics from the Aura ring that we use with one of my clients. And I noticed that his recovery went worse. So I asked him if he's maybe experiencing some heavy stress in the business. But no, he said that there was no big issue right now. Then during our call, he told me that the gym where he's training at now has a sauna and that he is doing always a sauna session after his workouts. And exactly there was the issue, because training is also a form of stress. And then doing some kind of intense sauna session after that is some additional stress. And this accumulation can lead to worse recovery. I also show you now a test result from a glucose monitor during a sauna session. And as you can see, blood sugar is spiking because of the stress. So I recommended to him after his workouts to do just 1 round of sauna, and also just on the lowest stage, because the higher you sit in the sauna, the more intense it is. And a few days later, his recovery metrics went up again. Second, a loss of electrolytes. Some people get dizzy or get sometimes headache after the sauna. And that's due to the loss of electrolytes, especially magnesium, salt, and potassium. That's why my first hack for improving and maximize your sauna session is to use and drink electrolytes, either in the form of electrolyte powder or some, for example, salted food. You can eat something like a handful of salted nuts and then maybe add some kind of fruits, because most fruits are rich in potassium. And you will notice this can be a huge game changer for your sauna sessions. Second is to do a specific breathing exercise during the sauna, because a lot of people sit in the sauna and heavily breathe through their mouth. What they don't know is the more you breathe, the higher your body temperature gets. So what I do is I simply sit down and some kind of meditate, where I just focus on my breath and try to breathe as slow and smooth as possible. And this of course has not just physical benefits, but also mental benefits. Third hack is to use a felt hat. You may have seen them from Russian saunas, or banya how they call them. The hat protects the head skin and lets you sit longer in the sauna without getting headaches. And of course, you look like a sauna pro. Fourth hack is to do 2 times 10 to 15 minute sessions in the sauna. As we learned at the beginning, you need to have this slight uncomfortable feeling to get even more benefits. Of course, not that much that they feel really bad, but as I said, you can adjust the intensity by choosing the level where you sit. The higher, the more intense; the lower, the easier it gets. So this is a protocol that I personally use. I do a sauna session for around 15 minutes. Then I do just a few minutes of break, maybe drink some water, and then I go to a cold shower or take a cold bath. Just around 1 to 2 minutes, and after that I do a rest between 15 to 20 minutes where I just lay down. Sometimes I read something, sometimes I take a nap, and then I go for the next sauna round for also around 10 to 15 minutes. And fifth hack is that I do intense sauna sessions apart from my training. As I showed you the example from my client, doing an intense sauna session immediately after your training may not be beneficial. But of course, you also can do it after your training with this simple rule of thumb. If the duration and the intensity of your sauna session is so low that you maybe can also sleep during the sauna, please be careful of that. Don't fall asleep in the sauna. But if you could, or the counter example, if you really feel your heartbeat because it's so intense, I wouldn't recommend to do it immediately after your workout. What is your sauna routine? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you want to optimize your health and performance, then subscribe to that channel. That's it for today, guys. See you soon.